Plenty of ranked teams lost this week of college football. Oklahoma against Ole Miss, Missouri against Vanderbilt, South Florida took an L to Memphis, 34-31. LSU got destroyed in their own building, 49-25. Illinois losing to Washington by that margin. Arizona State losing to Houston, 24-16. With that, we welcome in former Louisiana running back Emory Hunt and CBS Sports college football analyst Richard Johnson and Brad Crawford for our top 25 look ahead. And gentlemen, we are less than 2 weeks away from the first set of college football playoff rankings. Brad, you had Texas A&M projected number 4 entering week 9, needing some more ranked wins to beef up that resume. So how much does Saturday's win at number 20 LSU help their case, man?
I'll tell you what, man, the Aggies are now my SEC favorite. It took me 9 weeks to get on this Mike Elko bandwagon, but the Aggies took the fight to LSU tonight, beat them at their own bar, and by the end of it, there were no Tiger fans left for last call. That's how bad it looked for LSU there on the field at Tiger Stadium. Big-time win for A&M. They coupled that with a few weeks ago beating Notre Dame on the road. Marcel Reed has staked his claim in the Heisman race as well, entering this season's final month of the regular season. Just a bunch of big plays tonight, and normally we're used to seeing LSU make those plays, but this boat has capsized on Brian Kelly, and then on the other sideline, Mike Elko and Texas A&M, first time they're 8-0 in, I want to say 25 years. So the Aggies right now are the clear SEC frontrunner over Alabama.
You got an issue with that?
No, one of the things that I appreciate about Brad is just because you win a game like Alabama did today does not mean you get to stay where you are. He changes his rankings based on new information, which is fair. We wanted to see, could A&M do something like this, go into a road spot, hostile environment, walk into the trap, take over the trap. That's exactly what they did, and Brad ranked them accurately. I love that.
Yeah, I love it too, because when we watch these games, there's only 3 teams that look different than everybody else. It's Texas A&M, it's Indiana, and it's Ohio State. Those 3 teams look like they're going to be in the mix in the end, right? So I like that he ranked these guys, moved them up, because, again, something they haven't done since Shanice dropped I Love Your Smile in 1992.
Come on,
so
man.
My favorite choice is
I don't know nothing about that.
Right?
Nothing about that,
I was
boy.
born right there, man. Barely born.
I'm the oldest cat up here, but I had to bring it back there. But this is a great Texas A&M team. Offense, defense, special teams, physicality, mentality. I'm all for what Brad got these guys ranked.
You know who's another really good team? Vanderbilt, okay? Number 10, Vandy. They beat number 15, Missouri, in a wild game, right, where only 27 points were scored. Diego Pavia, of course, came through for the game winner. They next face Texas, right? Do they deserve to move up? Brad, in your opinion?
Well, I've got Vanderbilt as the 11 seed right now. I think it's going to come down to Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Notre Dame for that last playoff spot. Whether we see a 10-2 Notre Dame against maybe a 3-loss Vols or Vandy team, Vandy's going to have at least 3 top 25 wins. And Notre Dame right now, the only ranked win the Irish have is USC last weekend. So Vanderbilt's a team right now I don't think any of us had here at the end of October being in the mix for a playoff spot. And right now, Clark Lee and that Commodore team, they control their own destiny in the SEC race.
What's so helpful about this is Vanderbilt gets to see that Tennessee team at the end of the season. So we can sit up here and we can yap about it all season, and we will, but at the end of the day, they will decide that last playoff spot on the field, at least, when Vanderbilt plays Tennessee at the end of the season. That'll be a fun one.
They should have beat them last year. And when you think about it, like, Vanderbilt really is a good football team, fundamentally sound on both sides of the ball. And I love the way this season is starting to set up in terms of the college football playoff, because this season sets the table for why we should expand it even more so. Because there's some teams.
Another conversation for another day.
Yeah, there's some teams hanging around that's kind of playing like Vandy that may be on the outside looking in, but there are very good teams from Power 4 conferences, 3 of which in the ACC, 2 of which in the Big 12. But, hey, there's only 12 spots. Vandy played their way in it, and they're going to have to play their way out of it. I don't think Vandy is going to play their way out of it, because now they have tasted success, and they love how that tastes, and they are not infatuated with it. They do a great job in staying locked in like they did today.
Yeah, never get too high or never get too low. Now, number 8, Ole Miss, rebounding, Brad, from a heartbreaking loss to Georgia, game that they probably should have won. They get a victory over number 13, Oklahoma, and they didn't freeze this time when the Sooners took the lead, 26-25. Any chance, like, what do you think about their chances to move up and seeing them as a really top-tier contender?
Yeah, I told my guys, Richard and Emory, on Friday that let's pump the brakes on not calling Ole Miss a physical team. I think they showed it today in Norman. It's a game that Ole Miss needed to have. We said a couple weeks ago that the two ranked teams left on this schedule, Georgia and Oklahoma, as long as Lane Kiffin's team split those matchups, they would make the playoff. Now it looks like Ole Miss has a grand shot at being 11-1, missing out on Atlanta and still getting an at-large spot, potentially a first-round home game. So I do think Ole Miss, if they win out, finish 11-1, have a couple ranked wins, and if Tulane wins the American, then that win Ole Miss had over Tulane in September looks even better here a few weeks from now.
It's funny because, Richard, we were talking about this in a group. We were trying to figure out which teams look like the teams from last year. Well, this would be the Penn State of last year in terms of, winning some games, losing a big one, but bypassing the championship game and getting into the postseason. But the difference is, and I'm glad Brad held us to the fire, because this defense and this physical nature of Ole Miss really won this game today versus Oklahoma. They met them where they were at, in the trenches, up front, out on the perimeter. And before the game got wacky late, this defense for Ole Miss really was controlling how they were in this game, and they ran the ball rather well. They out-physicaled Oklahoma today.
Yeah, it was a nasty. I mean, it was a nasty game. It was nasty weather
for
most of it. It was sort of a mucky, grimy game that I didn't know if Ole Miss was actually built to win that game. I didn't know if Ole Miss was going to hold up front with their run defense against what OU could bring to the table. But no, they did enough to get the job done here.
Yeah, absolutely. Lane Kiffin doing a great job with that squad. And Brad, we are a week and a half away from the first college football playoff reveal. What's your top 12 prediction for the first college football playoff reveal if it came out on Sunday, man?
If it came out on Sunday, I think the number one team is undoubtedly Ohio State. They would get all of those selection committees' top votes right now through week 9. Texas A&M is my new projected SEC champion. I think they would be the 2 seed. Then you have Indiana and Bama rounding out the top 4. And the first round games, man, just some awesome matchups. 9-8, Ole Miss, Oregon, Memphis, Georgia Tech. And Memphis is the new G5 favorite now that the Tigers beat USF. Vanderbilt at BYU. Like I said, Vanderbilt likely getting that last at-large spot. Vandy's one of several teams fighting for 7 at-large spots, since there's 5 going to auto bid conference champions. And then lastly, Miami at Georgia. That is a sexy first-round matchup.
Miami and Georgia, the Carson Beck Bowl.
Right.
And then I see just your mythical bracket as it would stand tomorrow, the path to get an Indiana Vanderbilt winner take all to go to the college football playoff semifinal in Bloomington. That would feed families. That would be so fun.
Well, we talked about Indiana A&M matchup. That would be probably the most physical matchup we see in the playoffs. But I look at that 12 spot. Navy is a team I would keep an eye on, but they start the real part of their schedule this upcoming weekend, right? So they got a chance to play themselves into this postseason. But man, I look at Miami, and you think about Virginia, you think about Louisville, who beat them. Miami's on shaky ground if they lose one more game and these other teams in the ACC keep winning.
Yeah, very, very possible. I mean, Georgia Tech out here, they still unbeaten.
I told y'all, don't even get me started on Georgia. We ain't got enough time. You ain't got enough stamps in your Easy Pass when we talk about Georgia Tech. I done told y'all about Georgia Tech time and time again.
I really wish.
If Miami loses again, if the Canes lose again, Notre Dame at 10-2 is undoubtedly getting in that playoff.
Wow. Okay. All right.
That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, the brand.
That's what I was talking about. That's why we need 24.
Stop it. Okay, that's our cue
Exactly.
to wrap up this segment. Okay, that's our cue. Emory, you've had enough. Richard Johnson, Emory Hunt, Brad Crawford, always appreciate the insight, gentlemen. And here's a look at the odds to win the national championship according to our friends at FanDuel. Ohio State is the favorite by a pretty significant margin. The defending champs are priced at plus 240, followed by Indiana at plus 700 and Alabama at plus 750.